UPS, when you go to a grievance and you go to the panel, they will any ambiguity when it comes to contractual language, they will exploit it 100%.
Which side are you on? Which side are you on?
Jose, thanks for calling in. Appreciate it.
Yeah, let's get Jose on the air.
Good morning, gentlemen. Hope everybody's doing great.
Good morning, brother. Doing good. So you're a part-timer at UPS. You're a steward. You called in last week and gave us some...
I was a steward. I'm no longer a steward. Now I'm just a rank and file activist that,
Gotcha.
that educates the rank and file when they have questions or they need to know something. So I'm no longer a steward, but I am an active rank and file.
Well, good deal. Yeah, so rank and file member, former steward of the Teamsters at UPS in Anaheim, part-timer at UPS. You called in last week, talked about some of the state of things, and we just released a clip of that call yesterday, and looks like folks really appreciated it. Folks really liked it. It's one of the most viewed videos on our channel actually right now. So that one really kind of blew up. And, so what are some of your reactions to the press conference?
Well, regarding the press conference, and there's a great book out there called Outside the Box, Corporate Media, Globalization, and the UPS Strike, written by Professor Deepa Kumar. Mm-hmm. And in that book, she talks about how in the beginning of the 97 strike, leading up to and the beginning of the 97 strike, there wasn't that much media coverage. We had one question from the press corps today. So it was after like that first week then, or during that first week, the Teamsters starting getting more media publicity, in corporate media, because we all know corporate media is just the lapdog of the ruling class. And I guess of this individual that made the comment that we should go work for Amazon. I'm like, if I want to go work for Amazon, I'm going to go start Amazon, and I'm going to try to organize Amazon.
Mm-hmm.
On that note. And I'm glad that President O'Brien mentioned the plight of part-timers. Mm-hmm. Some of us are receiving government assistance. Some of us are living in our cars, and some of us are unfortunately unhoused and just find shelter and a place to rest their head wherever they can that's peaceful. So that's why myself with a bunch of other rank and file part-timers called Teamsters Mobilize have urged and have advocated for a $25 starting pay and 75 cents for every year service and a 5% wage increase. We're not trying to bankrupt the company. We're just trying to provide stability for our fellow rank and file members. Because one Teamster, one worker living on the street is not right. That's a struggle that all labor has to fight. Once you find out that even one member, a dues paying member, is living on the street, it's unhoused.
Right.
That should be a fight for all of us to take up. So I applaud General O'Brien for talking about that, but we've had internal updates ourselves. We had one last Wednesday,
mm-hmm.
and then 3 weeks ago. I just wished that when giving updates to us, the membership, that be a little bit more detailed with those updates. Be a little bit more transparent. Now, last week we had the leaked UPS economic counterproposal, which in fact UPS later on in the week admitted it was a leak and said they came back with a better, more significant offer or something like that. I just wish we would have seen both. We would have seen that second counterproposal from UPS
mm-hmm.
and what was our proposal for UPS when it comes to the economics. Now it's the all eyes on me because it's the economic package. How much are we going to get in wages? How much are we going to get in wage increase? How much are we going to get in pension contribution? How much are we going to get in healthcare contribution? I just wish we would have seen that. We still don't know. I still don't know. All you hear is rumors. Oh, they offered this, they offered that, but we don't know. And at some point, it gets frustrating. You can't be telling us, oh, June 30th is we want our last best and final offer. Then we wake up June 30th. Okay, we're gonna get something because we're done. We're done just playing these games with UPS. And then you find out they extended it to July 5th. You're like, wait, what happened to June 30th is going to be where we're going to get the last best and final offer from UPS.
Right.
Because when you work for UPS, when you go through the system, right? You start as a part-timer. Most of them start as a part-timer, and then you go into driving, your regular package car driver, or you become a feeder. Once you go through that, you understand the struggle. Now, some drivers kind of, once they get their homes, they get into the middle class. Some of them just forget that they were ever part-timers, but once you go through that grind, you understand all the harassment that you go through, whether in the part-time ranks or the full-time ranks. You go through the harassment, so the public really doesn't know how much, we go through on a daily basis.
Mm-hmm.
But once you go through that, to me, you just want to fight because and especially now during contract season, and especially after record profits after record profits after record profits, and when they could have done the right thing in 2020 during COVID, when we had the lockdown, all UPS said was, well, there's a contract in place. They couldn't negotiate economics. They negotiated other things. Oh, you out here in the Southwest, if you work through your vacation, you get time and a half. Oh, part-timers could use their personal vehicle to go deliver packages. But to give us a significant bump to show that you actually appreciate us, no, they never did. So, you go through that trial of being a part-timer or full-timer, whatever it may be, and you remember 2020, you're like, dude, I'm all in. I'm all in now. Some of us have to save money, and probably some of us haven't saved money, and some of us live beyond our means. But at this crucial moment, we all need to stick together.
Yeah, absolutely. And I really echo your desire for more specifics, and there was somebody in the chat that said the exact same thing. I wish you would have given more specifics on the particular policies they're advocating for. I think it would be helpful for the general public to be aware of that. And really, they tied their hands by agreeing to ground rules at the beginning. They agreed to NDAs regarding regarding both their proposals and the company's proposals. And so they do, at this point, legally speaking, have to be somewhat vague because of the NDAs they've signed at the beginning of this contract that were unnecessary. You don't have to agree to those at the beginning of negotiations. They're not necessary, and the employer cannot make you do them. They are not mandatory subjects of bargaining ground rules, and so you don't have to do that. That's one of the things that Jane McAlevey really stresses is that you should not agree to ground rules during negotiations, particularly ones that restrict your ability to communicate with your members.
It's funny. She wrote a piece for the Nation, and I've read all Jane McAlevey's books. No Shortcuts, Fight Like Hell. I forgot the name of the new one. But anywho, she wrote a piece for the Nation. And I was reading it. Some of it, okay, I'm a fan. But then I was like, wait, other parts I was like, hold on, Jane. I don't think you quite get the bigger picture because as you mentioned, we don't have to accept any ground rules. That's just voluntary. It's not mandatory by the NLRA or anything, right? But we accepted an NDA, a non-disclosure agreement, and that in UPS and Teamster world, you've heard about this term called brownout, which is the lack of information being sent out by the IBT during negotiations. This was just the lipstick on a pig when we called the MDA. Now they give us updates, but they're superficial at best. You're like, okay, what was agreed upon? Okay, what are the contractual language? Because in UPS, when you go to agreement and you go to the panel, they will any ambiguity when it comes to contractual language, they will exploit it 100%. And now another problem, we just heard O'Brien talk about concessions.
Right.
Now out here in the Southwest, we're going to have a sitting arbitrator. And I know Jane McElvaney has advocated for a sitting arbitrator, but when you have when you deal with UPS, even strong, clear, defined contractual language, they will manipulate the semantics of it, and they'll just twist it around. Right now, we have a sitting arbitrator. They're going to interpret that contractual language, and what was meant by the contractual language is going to be defined something else. There's a possibility, correct, by the sitting arbitrator, right? It's like the Supreme Court holding precedence for so long, then he comes to an activist court. All what came before gets done. Oh, those courts were wrong, upholding those decisions were wrong. We've just seen it, but that sitting arbitrator is a concession because UPS will violate the contract. They'll violate the contractual language. And now you have a sitting arbitrator there. They're just going to interpret it the way they interpret it. And we're going to just be like, what? And then two, if you're an activist, if you're a rank and file activist, or a member with high seniority, who's to say they won't go after you? Because how here in the Southwest, we and many places in the country, we have dishonesty.
Right.
You're stealing company time, or you doing this. Oh, you were talking to blah 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 for so long. Why were you over there? To have a sitting arbitrator is a bad idea.
Yeah.
Because the way they're going to interpret things is going to be the new precedent. So that concession, that is a concession in my book. And if we don't get $25 for part-timers and $55 top rate for RPCD, what they call regular package car drivers, then that's another concession. Because you're not giving us wages that are staying above inflation and having real purchasing power.
Right. Yeah, I think that all makes a lot of sense. And one other thing that you mentioned that I just want to agree with is the concern about the continual, which they're still not material as of yet, but the kind of going back, setting a line and then allowing it to be pushed back with the supplementals, not beginning national negotiations until supplementals are completed. And actually, the Southern supplemental has still not been ratified by the membership, as far as I can tell.
They'll get the supplements will get ratified with the national master. They all get ratified at the same time. So when we get our ballots, they'll say, yes or no for the national master, yes or no for the Southwest, Western region supplement, yes or no for the Southwest sort and package riders, yes or no for the Southwest utility and addendum. So they'll get it once we got the whole package. But even in the Southern supplement, there's a lot of individuals that think it's just a sellout contract.
Yeah. So, that's actually that we got a message last week or the week before from a Teamster in Texas who may be on the line now, and we'll go ahead and let you go here soon. We've got 3 others on the line that were concerned about the Southern supplement, so we'll see what they have to say. Appreciate your time, Jose. Good luck, solidarity, and I'll be on the picket line with y'all, not in Anaheim, but in Huntsville when and if you go on strike.
Solidarity and all power to the workers.
Thanks, brother.
Yep, thanks. Appreciate it.
You just saw a clip from the Valley Labor Report. We are live every Saturday morning from 9:30 a.m. till 12:30 p.m. And we pride ourselves on keeping all of our content free to everybody so that we can talk to as many working folks as possible. If you support the work that we're doing, you think that it's important, you think that it's good, then consider making a monthly contribution to the project, and you can do that on our website, tvlr.fm.